Hey, May. Welcome to the Plan to Prosper Small Business Academy. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me here, Yulika.
So, what part of the country are you in?
I am in Miami, Florida.
Oh, I'm jealous. You know what? I was gonna be like, the weather's getting warmer, the spring is coming. Never mind.
I would say that we get 7 months of good weather and 5 months of very, very, very hot and humid weather and rain and downpour and hurricane. So I'll take
And
that.
I think that the times that I've been to Miami, we got a mix on the same day. So it's really beautiful, and then it looked like it was a hurricane, and then it passed over. I mean, it was just a rainstorm, but it was a really heavy storm, and then it was beautiful again. So then you forget about the rain that just happened. Well,
Well,
I
welcome to
will.
Miami. You got a first-hand experience.
Exactly, exactly, with the umbrella turned upside down, yes, and then it
Yep.
was over, and then people were walking around again like everything was okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited. So I can now I'm putting it together with the planning events. So I'm thinking Miami Vice on the water, swanky. Everybody wears white. So first of all, let's pause before we get in that because she's into events. So I want to tell me who you are and what you do, and then we'll ask about the Miami Vice style events.
Absolutely. So my name is May Yo Silvers. I am originally from Singapore. If you have watched Crazy Rich Asian, where they filmed the whole show, that's where I'm from. And the hotel that Nick and Jessica stay at, that was my very first job as a management trainee at the
Really?
Raffles Hotel. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So my background has always been in hospitality, in hotels, in events, and food and beverage. So in April 2012, we started our event planning company called M2 Hospitality. So I own an event planning company. I'm a corporate event planner. And then in 2020, in June 2020, I started my business coaching and mentoring program for event planners when nobody was planning events. But
It's a
I
good
felt
time to learn, though. It's a good time to learn.
exactly,
It's a good time to learn.
exactly what better time than now?
To take a
So
pause.
exactly, exactly. So that's what I do. I'm an event planner, and I also teach event planners how to have a six-figure event planning business.
So is so are we still on-site events are still back in business, right? We aren't zooming everything, are we?
Business is back in full force. Events is back in full force. It's we are bursting at the seams. So
So you find that people were waiting or holding on weddings and conventions and things during COVID? Or what do you think was happening there?
honestly, people are not holding or waiting, but the regulations made them hold or and wait.
Oh,
So all these policies, CDC policy, the city, the state has all these regulations, no mass gathering. So that's why by default, everything got pushed back to 2021 and 2022. And I'm planning events for 2023 and 2024 because everything just got pushed back in 1 year to 3 years down the road because every it's not just one city, it's the whole country, the
mhm.
whole world. So everything got compressed and yeah, it's back in full force times 10.
So this is a good time to be in the event planning industry.
Absolutely. I wouldn't say that's a bad time. It's always a good time, but this is the best time. So if
Understood.
you're starting the business, either you sink or you swim. So that's the reason why I started the mentoring program in 2020 in June to get them ready for 2021.
So what tell me if so the listeners are listening in. So tell me what makes a great event.
What makes a great event is very subjective. So it can be from the host perspective, a great event is whatever they want,
Mhm.
but may not be whatever the attendees want. What a great event is an experience that fulfills what the host wants and what the attendees also want. So
Oh,
that's a great
okay.
event.
Excellent. So are we talking personal events, weddings, family events? Are we also talking corporate events, conferences? So do you cover them both or do you work more in one space or the other?
So when I was in the hotel business as a director of catering and conference services or director of events, I handle both
Mm,
social and corporate. So personally, events that I love to plan are corporate events. I mean, I've done weddings before, I've done social events before. But if you were to ask me if I have to pick one, it will be corporate events. And that's why M2 Hospitality, my event planning company, focuses 100% on corporate events. And my corporate clients, they are regular human beings too, right? They get married, they have birthday parties, milestone events, and they will ask me if I like to plan the events. And very seldom I wouldn't say no, because we do business all in all. It may not be me personally planning, it could be my team, but yes, but our main focus is more for corporate events. Yes.
excellent. So I wondered too, so there seems to be a big rush. I don't know if it's a rush where people, how do I say this without being
Just
rude?
speed it out.
People are have well, I shouldn't say people. Certain entrepreneurs are having the business is having events. Like they're having a conference or a whatever it is, a
Mhm.
workshop, and so their business is the event. So do you find that the business can be an event or is the best event support a business that's already happening? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Some people are like
I
just
understand. I
yeah.
understand. Some people grow their business in terms of the income stream and also their followings and their brand visibility by throwing events after events after events. So 100%. I know of companies like that, and I work with a lot of companies like that. And some companies, they have their regular operation, and then they have 3 to 4 events a year for different purposes. That works too. So there are different types of events, but I will tell you that when you plan an event as a business, and that's what I do day in day out. My niche is to do in-person events for coaches and consultants, and because I myself feel that events like that is transformational for the
Mm.
life. So it's not just a regular product launch, it's not just a party, it actually has intent, it's very intentional. So whatever the case, when you do an event, you need to understand what's the objective of the event. Some of the events' objective is to reward their salespeople. So this
Mm.
is what we call a sales incentive event, where you do all the rah-rah, and then we talk about the numbers, and then we go enjoy ourselves. You treat them like kings and queens, you appreciate them, and then they continue to bring in more revenue for you. Some events are more about education, know more about what are the new services and products that the company is providing so that they can serve their audience. Some events are basically coaches and consultants is their clients. So we extend the lifetime value of the client by renewing their membership with us or by enrolling more people into the program. So it all has different objectives, and you need to understand what is the objective of having that event.
So there's no one size fits
No,
all, because
no.
I got to a feeling because I speak at a lot of events. Because if they're having a business event, sometimes they want a numbers person there, and they seem to kind of follow a kind of a pattern or a format, of speaker after speaker after speaker after speaker, and then at the end, the main speaker kind of pitches. So, but I don't always see the unique experience there. So I think that's what you're talking about. And
Correct. I mean, there is a standard format for events. That's why there are event planners, and then there's event planners. So I'm more of an event strategist, and I
okay.
plan as well. So I strategize with you to understand what is the experience that you want to create for your company, and what is the experience that your attendees want to take away from. And then from there, we format the agenda of the event. So it's not like speaker after speaker after speaker, then break, and then speaker lunch, then speaker. No, we incorporate things into the agenda so that they don't feel like I'm sitting here listening, and then taking notes, listening. So it all depends. Go back to what are you trying to achieve at this
Mm.
event.
Understood, understood. So I talk about the size. So I assume that you should have some kind of following if your purpose is to renew or get people out, or is that not necessary?
If you have a following, which is great. If you don't have a following, but you have an excellent brand messaging and
Mm,
also a very good agenda that speaks to information that people want or need and they can't find it anywhere, and you are able to follow up with certain form of marketing that you actually already warm up these people before they purchase the ticket from you, then you don't really need a following. It's all about marketing. The market will always perceive what you put out there.
understood. So I've spoken at several events where I didn't know the agenda until I got there. So there was no outline. So I think you're saying so you have to tease the people and let them know what they're receiving so they can know that what
Correct.
they're gonna get. Excellent,
Correct.
excellent. So tell us how we can work with you and what do I need to have ready before I come to our first meeting? An idea?
Nothing.
Oh,
Just
nothing.
come with me with an idea, and is this my job to understand why you want to have an event. Sometimes you don't even know because it seems fun, everybody is doing it, and people tell you that, oh, I gain a lot of followers, oh, I gain a lot of new customers, oh, I make a lot of money from all these events, and I said, you know what, I need to jump on the bandwagon. So you come here, you come on a call with me and you say, I want to do an event. I'll be like, okay, fantastic, right? So I ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions. I ask you, and I require you to think through, so that whatever we put together is going to serve you, it's going to serve your audience, and it's going to serve your business, and it's going to serve your bottom line.
Do you also manage virtual events or you only do in person?
I do virtual events as well, but my passion is in person. Nothing beats an in-person interaction. I will tell you.
Are you
I've
on
done,
site at the event?
yes.
So you are on
So
the site working running around or
no, I have a team, so I seldom run around. so
excellent.
so yeah, I seldom run around. I'm a CEO of the business, so I appear like a CEO. So my job is to make sure that everybody do what they're supposed to do. Um, if the client doesn't need me to be on site, I will train their team what they need to do at
Mhm.
the day of the event, before the event, the prep, during, and after. If they just want me to take over so that their team can do what they're supposed to do, like a lot of times they have a sales team there because they want to sell. So
Correct.
I will handle everything. So I will bring my team with me, and then we handle the registration to making sure that all the setup is correct, making sure everybody is taken care of. So I handle the back end. Yeah.
So let's talk about money a little bit.
Hmm.
So should you have seed money or money already to cover the event, or are you making sure that you sell enough tickets to pay May and her team? How does that work if you're trying to get started? You got zero. Where do we go from there?
So it's like a chicken and egg situation, right?
Yes.
What should we do? So this is where having an event strategist is going to really help you if you want to have a business. Of course, you have to look at this event. Is this a marketing cost? Is
Mm,
it part of the marketing budget?
mm.
Do you see hosting an event a sales activity? Do you see it as a PR activity? Do you see it just as a marketing activity? So, if I were to ask you to take money out from your marketing funds, you don't feel the pain after we finish the whole strategy session and showing you the numbers, how much money you can actually make or break even.
Which
So, if we
which
start with,
is
go
important
ahead.
why you have to be clear of what your goal is.
Correct. Your
Does your
objective.
goal to
What is your return
market?
on investment? Exactly.
Yes, I love that.
What exactly is your return on investment, and how should we measure that? Because there's tangible and intangible. Tangible is the money. Intangible is brand visibility,
Reputation.
loyalty,
Yes.
reputation, so all that. So to answer your question, if you do not have a budget set aside and you're thinking, can I host an event? So, but I have to pay vendors, I have to pay venues, right? So a lot of times when you are in that kind of situation, I will sit down with you and understand, of course, the objective of the event, okay? And then I will work out the sum with you. We need to understand how much money we actually need to make in order to even break even. So
Mhm.
you want to already start selling tickets before you sign any agreement with anybody, okay? With the exception of the event planner, because the event planner is actually guiding you through. So if you really have to find that money to pay the event strategies first before you sink in more money into an activity that you don't even know whether there's going to be any return.
Mm.
So you and I will, we'll go through all the strategy session, and then we're going to find out whether, okay, how many tickets do we need to sell right now in order to pay the deposit for the venue, and for all these mandatory costs that you have to incur. How many tickets do we need to sell right now? What is
Mm.
the early bird ticket fee? And then after that, we just move forward, because we already have a strategy session. We will know how many tickets we can sell, how many tickets we must sell. That's a two different question. How many tickets we can sell, and how many tickets
We
we
must
must sell.
sell.
Yeah.
So now we talked about money a little bit. Let's talk about timeline. So
Okay.
I can't have a conference tomorrow, can I?
I
What's
would
an
say that
what's an
I,
acceptable timeline?
I would say give yourself at least minimum 3 months. Minimum.
Minimum three
Okay.
months.
Minimum 3 months. Ideally 6 to 9 months.
6 to 9 months. So, and
Yeah.
is it easier if it is an annual event? If it's something that's reoccurring, that's easier than maybe a one-off event.
Yeah, when you do your event, and if it's annual, you can already sell the next event at this event.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So I'm so intrigued by this because I've seen and with virtual and different I guess ingenuity that people are using, I'm seeing more and more people step into the event space, having their signature event on whatever scale. And I think that what I would encourage people is just to try. Just to
Absolutely. I
try.
would say to try, and a lot of times they try to plan the events themselves,
Yes.
and sometimes they break even, sometimes they lost money, but then they see the intangible results, which is great. What I want everybody to know is every event that you plan has a potential to make money and gain the intangible results if you know what you're doing. If you're already making money at your events, there's potential to make a lot more money. So there's no downside at all. So do it, regardless whether you do it yourself or you're going to do it with an event strategist slash planner.
And you as a strategist will help us set the proper price point for what we're trying to offer.
Correct. Yes.
Excellent. So now let's move from us hosting an event to let's talk to people who are event planners who are pulling their hair out. They don't, yelling with the bride, bridezillas or whatever, or corporate. So what advice would you give to them to get, other than hiring you for a coach, what could they do like right now just to settle things down and get a little bit more organized and less crazy?
I think if you're an event planner and you want to have your own event planning company, you have to ask yourself some deep questions and be honest.
Mm,
Okay. You have to ask yourself, why do you want to have a business?
mm.
Is it because there's so many entrepreneurs out there, right? I call them entrepreneurs. I want to be a entrepreneur, entrepreneurs, right?
The
So many one
shade, the shade, mate, the shade.
so many entrepreneurs. So I will ask you, why do you want to have a business? Do you have an idea what it takes to own, run, and sustain a business? And a lot of times people will tell me that I want to have a business because I want to make my own schedule.
Mhm.
I want to have more freedom. I want to write my own paycheck. I don't want to have to depend on anyone. I want to do what I love. These are all great, great, great reasons why you start your business. And unfortunately, social media paint a picture that being an entrepreneur, it's all rosy and it's all hunky-dory. Today, I just snapshot myself. I was in my pool wearing my shades and I took a picture. I said, this is my office this morning. Where is your office this morning? And I hashtag CEO lifestyle. However, I don't
However,
just I don't just post that picture. I have post pictures that I follow up with another picture of me setting up my laptop and my iPad right behind my laptop. And then I have a mark with a straw putting up my phone for Instagram. I said, listen, I said, this is my setup for my Wednesday live. And I'm doing it messy. But who cares as long as I show up to serve my people. And I have pictures of me eating my lunch in the car. I have pictures of me working at 11 p.m. at night. And I say, I'm so tired. I want to snuggle with my baby and my husband, but this needs to get out.
exactly. And if you're
So,
talking about events, events happen nights and weekends sometimes. If
yes.
you're small, you gotta be there at that time. And I always have the thing about people who they want to write their own paycheck, but you just traded one boss for many bosses because everybody's demanding of you as an
So,
entrepreneur.
and you ask a very good question. Like, if they're starting their business, they feel like there's so much going on, right? And the first thing that they want when they start their business is clients and money, correct?
Yes.
Clients and money. So they are always worrying about not having enough clients and they're always worrying about not having enough money, correct?
Yes.
So if you have a bridezilla, you have to ask yourself, you have a choice not to work with that bridezilla.
Mm.
You have that choice. If you have a corporate client that is your nightmare client, you have a choice to fire that client. But before we get to that point, every time that you have a conversation in a connect call, sales call, you have to ask yourself, will I have fun working with this person? Do
Mm.
I want to work with this person? We cannot let money determine whether do I want to work with this person. So as a business owner, yes, money is important, but your sanity is even more important, your peace and
Amen.
your joy. So you have
So
a
let me
choice.
tell you an experience that I've had with a few event planning companies that I have coached financially.
Mhm.
So if I think people get into the event planning because they like making it beautiful. So what I find is they'll have a budget, they set a price for the event, and the person's paid for XYZ. Let's say the theme is sunflowers. Let's just put it out there, maybe sunflower. So what they say is, I saw these other sunflower things. I want to get it for this, but they didn't pay for that. So I see some event planners start to spend above, or they might not have, they might be spending some of their profit because they want to make it, because they're treating it as though that's their event or whatever. And it's, even though it's a little bit higher, but sometimes it's extra running around. And how do you guard against? So you look like you understand what I'm saying. So how do you guard against that?
100%. 100%. When I teach pricing,
Mm,
I said that if the client comes to you that they have a budget of XYZ for the event and they tell you their vision, if they say that they have a budget of $5,000, let's just make it a small birthday party. $5,000 for the event, and they want a sunflower theme. They want a wall with full of sunflowers. They want sunflowers on the table. Everything sunflower, okay? And then you ask questions, right? Oh, where is the event for how many people? And then you have an idea, okay, how much things cost? So they gave you a budget of 5,000, and you calculated, this whole thing is going to cost my client $4,200, okay, to make it look the way she wants. So there's $800 left. So that means I have a profit of $800. So I take this event. And then you realize that you're working 20 hours for this event, okay? You're working 20 hours for this event. So you take $800 divided by 20 hours, you just made $40 an hour, okay? If you have done your homework and calculate what should be your hourly rate, and your hourly
mm.
rate is $100, you lost money, my friend.
Yes. And
So
and that's not even, counting if the lady hollered at you in the middle of it. If you had
exactly. Exactly. You have to calculate your break-even rate and your hourly rate. If the cost of you running the business is $50 and you decide to charge $100 for your hourly rate, you did this event for 20 hours and you with $800 profit, you divide by that, you're actually making $40 an hour. So you actually lost money for this event.
And that is what I've run into, and with I've helped those type of businesses to put the reins on it. First of all, they need price lists to say what is included. There's nothing wrong with having a $500 package, but you got to say what's included for that.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so they get it, and I think that they get excited for the event coming together,
Yeah,
and so I think that's what it is. But we have to go back to the numbers. Even if
correct.
we baked a cake, May, if our business was baking a cake, we should
Hmm.
bake one cake at a profit. If it takes us
Everything that you do has to have a profit.
everything,
Everything. You're
and
running a business, you're not running a charity.
exactly. And I think some people think it sometimes it magically happens, or they don't want to look at the numbers in that deep. They just want to do the fun stuff. And they don't want to look. No, this stuff is more expensive if I go to the corner store than if I order it online. And so just getting those disciplines is a very, very and I see that too, and I could and you can confirm that's important too in getting the value for the client. So do they have to have the $1,000 plastic fancy silverware, or can they have a replica? You know what I mean? But
Exactly.
talking to them about where they want to have the fluff and where it doesn't matter. Like,
You
does it
hit the
matter? Yeah.
nail on the head.
Yes.
Absolutely. Your job is to find out why they want that. Why do they want what they want?
Yes.
Understand how is that going to impact the experience for them and for their guests. And do we really need that $1,000 thing? Can we do something else? So
Exactly. I would
you're
rather have
definitely right.
food. If I'm coming to your event, I would rather have some good meatballs. I'm just kidding. But,
Yes.
than if I had on the plate that matched the ceiling, it doesn't, you got to pick your battles. You got to pick your battles. I've been to some fancy stuff. I'm just telling you. Where it's like, wow, this matches just I'm saying. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited for you to really. So tell us how. I'm excited to hear this because I think there is so much money to be made, but there are also memories to make. So there are people who want events. We've been in the house for 2 years, be it corporate or personal. But I'm also glad that there's an opportunity for those who want to be in that event planning space. That we now have a leader in this area. Okay.
Oh, thank
And
you.
that is May Silvers. So tell us how we can get in contact with you. How can we find you?
So you can find me on Instagram, which is Mayo Silvers, MAYYEOSILVERS. So Mayo Silvers for Instagram. I also have a private Facebook group, which is called Events, EVENTS, number 4, anyone, events for anyone, A to Z guide to start and grow your event planning
Ooh,
company.
I love I'm gonna
So,
actually send that tonight. We're gonna put all that in the show notes, but I have at least 3 clients I have in mind that I will send that information to them today so
oh,
they can
thank you.
join that group.
Thank you. And actually, my website is probably the better place to go because it sends you to my YouTube, my blog, my Facebook page, my Instagram, the whole nine yards,
Tell
which
us
is
all about it. What is it, honey? What is it?
eventsforanyone.com. EVENTS number 4 anyone.com.
Thank you very much. We're going to make sure we have all of that in the show notes so people can find you because there are events to hold people. We need more Instagram photos. We need to see how fabulous your life is, your business. And there now are you the maven of events? May the maven of events has come on the scene to tell us that. And I think that applies to all businesses of all sizes, even if you're having an event in the church fellowship hall. My first event was a bookkeeping workshop in the city library in the basement, and like 40 people were there. It was very nice. We had snacks. So that was my first event. It was well attended, well received. But I see myself doing bigger things in the future. So I thank you. You've inspired me, and I'm sure you've inspired the members of the Plan to Prosper Small Business Academy. And we ask you to please come back. If you have some new things to tell us about, new events, please tell us. Or if you see us acting crazy and putting all on horrible events, we need you to come back and get us in line and say, do not do this. Okay. We need that. Don't have us looking crazy in these streets. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun. Hopefully, I share some insights about hosting your own events. I share some insight about owning your own event planning company.
Yes.
I'm here to serve.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And please come again.
Thank you.